Okay, let's see where this goes. This is so cool. Oh my god. I am on top of the Folly Mansion, or at least what's left of it. As you can see behind me, all these ruins here. So as the legend goes, this mansion was built by an eccentric millionaire who built it in order to impress his bride-to-be. In order to speed up the process of building this, he used salt water from the sea in the construction of the concrete. And because of that, it made the concrete very brittle. So when he brought his bride here and she saw it, it was already crumbling apart, and she exclaimed, "What a folly!" and left the man. And ever since then, this was called the Folly Mansion, otherwise known as Folly Ruins, as it is today, because it is now fallen into ruins. That's actually not true. The actual story is that a man named Alfred Mitchell, who was a businessman, I believe, in 1905 had this built as a kind of like a summer getaway, or winter getaway, I guess, for him and his wife. And his wife was the heiress of the Tiffany fortune. I think it was Annie Tiffany. So very, very wealthy people. And they had this built because they fell in love with Port Antonio. They lived here for a few years until Alfred died. Annie lived here for a few years more, and then she moved away as well. And after that, the mansion was just left abandoned, and vandals came in and just kind of like pilfered everything that they can grab. And over time, you know, destroyed a bunch of stuff, and the building fell in disrepair. It's not quite as romantic of a story, you know, it's nothing about morals or anything. It's more just like what happens to a lot of buildings. It might be that the salt water has affected the construction somewhat and made it more brittle or something, but they lived here happily for a few years together, so it didn't seem to have any effect while they were here. The name Folly is actually what this area is called. It's been called that for like over 100 years before they moved in, so it wasn't, oh, what a folly, and it got called Folly Mansion. It's just always been, the area has always been Folly. So the name of the mansion is named after the area, not because it's a mistake. Still, it's a really cool legend, and a lot of people do believe that. If you go through, like, I went through like the Google reviews and everything, and everyone's like telling the story in a different way, how they heard it. So it's kind of like a local legend here of like, that's what this is. In reality, it's just a beautiful mansion through years of neglect has just fallen apart and been kind of like taken in and damaged by vandalism. So if you go through now, you see lots of graffiti, you see lots of things just kind of like chipped away. Some of it I'm sure has fallen naturally, others probably were just like kicked by, you know, kids. So that's what you got now. But that doesn't take away from, this is an absolutely gorgeous site. It is really, really cool, and just to see something that, you know, nature is kind of like taking over is pretty amazing. You see like little plants and everything like growing into the ground, and the views and everything are still like incredible. I've never been so excited to see floor tiles. This is like really neat. These floor tiles are brought to you by the Umbrella Corporation. Wow. It's such an incredible view. And there's no one here. I've heard that they, like, occasionally, like, homeless people will make their way in here. So on Google Maps, there's like half of the people are like, oh, this is an incredible experience, you like to be all alone, and then a few of them are like, there's like some crazy guy down there, and like, I don't know, he was just looking weird. So there's no stories of anyone getting into any like issues, like no one's gotten robbed or anything, but you know, you might get a few like colorful characters who've made their way into here, because I mean it's just open. Absolutely terrifying. Yeah, Folly Oval is nearby, and it's just like a public park, so people are congregating over there and they'll come over here, and it's all just like open. There's like no cost, no ticket takers, nothing. It's just like an abandoned building. I don't believe there's any issue with you coming here. There's no sign saying no trespassing or anything, and the gates are all open. I've seen some reviews saying the gates are locked and you can only see it from the outside, but apparently that's not the case anymore. Maybe someone just like broke it open and no one's bothered to close it again. Yeah, that roof is just like totally caving in. This could be a really awesome tourist spot, but doesn't seem to be the case. More people who come here go off to the beach. That's what Port Antonio is known for, is for its beaches. So that's usually what people do when they come here. But this area is incredible. This is well worth a trip, especially if you like urban exploring sort of things, or you like history. This is a great site. It's kind of a shame that nobody is managing it. It does seem like somebody is trimming the lawn though, so maybe somebody is, but the building itself seems fairly dangerous. Seems like a bad place to go unless like you're very careful. And maybe it'll only take someone getting hurt here before they do something with it, but until then it ends up being a very interesting site, very off the beaten path. Pretty dangerous though. This stone is very old. It's from 1905, as I said. Whether or not the salt water in the concrete has much to do with the structure, it is quite thin, and there is a lot of time. So even like normal cement, I think, would be an issue here. So you got to be very careful with your footing. Like that's not too thick. This looks like it might have been stables. Maybe like a horse stables. I guess the very wealthy people that lived here, they had a whole like menagerie of different animals. They had like a bunch of like monkeys and stuff. So they had a huge collection of animals on the property. So this over here is Woods Island, but locals call it Monkey Island. All the animals that were there, that were on this property, there are some on this small island as well, and they've proliferated. So animals on that island are like relatives of the ones that were brought here in 1905. And some people, they actually like swim across. It's like not terribly far. So there used to be just like a little bridge, but now if you're a decent swimmer, you can make your way across there. It's not that far. Me, I'm not a good swimmer, so unless like that guy with the boat there comes ashore and wants to give me a ride for a couple bucks, I'm not going to go over there, because otherwise I will die. Those waves do not look too friendly to me. Seems pretty sturdy. Looks like someone threw a birthday party in here. This is the basement. Some stalagmites here. Or stalactites, I can never remember which one's which. There's an old pipe. So, looks like they did have water here. So let's see what's on the ground. Ex Nimrod Caper the 4th, March, April 1st. Oh, wow. I don't know what this is. Is this a tomb, maybe? Nimrod Caper. Oh yeah. Yep, this was definitely a toilet. You can see the pipes. Alright. This is probably like, since they have, it seems like they had pipes inside, and I saw something that kind of looked like this structure. My guess is that this is, this was for the servants, or they built it afterwards. Because there seems to be a bathroom in there. Because there's something that looked very similar to that in there. Here's some kind of hole. This is, cement work. So I'm not sure what this was. Maybe part of the plumbing, or maybe there was a building here at some point, some structure. But what that teaches me is I have to really be careful walking around here, because you might step into a hole that's covered with leaves. This is the back view of the mansion. Just imagine these this wealthy couple just like hanging out there, looking out over the water. I'm a little bit envious of that. Yeah, it's a stable, it seems. Yeah. And apparently somebody is living here. Yeah, well, I'm not gonna wait until this person gets back. There's like a piece of corrugated metal there that he's using it as a door, I guess. Yeah, so I think that's my cue to get out of here. And one of the reviews I saw said that there's some young guy with disabilities, a homeless guy with disabilities that lives over here. Seems like friendly, but you know, someone's made it into their home. Yeah, this is the other side of the stables. Looks like they had enough room for, was that 8 horses? Or whatever other animals they might have had. There's a lighthouse you can get to from here also. Let me see if I can figure out how to do that. So, if we're looking at the water, we are towards the east side of the Folly Point, and the lighthouse is over on the west side. So in order to get there, you walk around this way. And I've heard that, like, in order to get there, you can get there through here by going through a gate on the side, but if you try to get there through the road on the left when you walk in, that you might find a gate that is locked. So this is a way to get around that. It doesn't seem like there's any rules against trespassing. There's no signs or anything. It's just like a road that continues on. So I'd say that's fair game. And just in case you're concerned for my safety, I did see someone else walking through here. Seemed like it's kind of like a Rastafarian dude. Nothing, didn't look homeless or anything. I think he's just like maybe a fisherman or something. People do come here. There are reviews for it. It is listed on Google Maps and on Jamaican tourist sites. So people come here, but it's abandoned. There's no doubt about that. It's not like you're breaking and entering coming here. I don't think so, but a few people probably come here every day. And I think that's where my comfort level is. Don't want to go somewhere that's like just like some abandoned house in the middle of a farm in a small town like people do. I think that's a crazy thing to do. This feels relatively safe. You just got to be kind of sharp as you're walking through. You can't just kind of like do, because then you'll fall down a hole. Yeah, here's where the bridge was, and you can see it's actually very shallow. Yeah, that's not a hard thing to go across if you manage not to be swept out by the tide. I'm not sure if that is remnants of the bridge that would go across from here. There is like a path kind of leading up to it, so it might be that's what that is, but there's also this here, this like jetting out. I think maybe that could have also been it, connecting to those stairs over there. I'm not sure, not too sure, but it is still pretty cool. There's people in there. People like some fishermen kind of like wandering around in there. So that's interesting. So someone like boated out to it. So that must be like a really cool site to go in. Not gonna do it though. Huh. So you walk through the path. There's a little house there that looks fairly modern. So here's the parking lot for the Folly Lighthouse. You can see like just vaguely it says that there. And it's locked. I've heard that there's someone who can let you in if you can find them, but I'm not sure where to ask. So I managed to get in, and there are some people in there, and it seems like they're renovating the space. There's like all these little buildings in there, and there was like a bathroom, like brand new, but everything was kind of like under construction, including the lighthouse. The lighthouse had like scaffolding on it, so it appears that they are fixing this place up for tourism, which is great because that's cool. And hopefully if they do that, the next step would be to bring tourists over to the mansion as well. And yeah, they didn't want me to take pictures of the lighthouse because of the construction. Can't say I blame them, totally get it. So I didn't sneak any or anything, and just heading back down from a different path. I'm not sure if this will lead me back to where I want to go or not, but we'll find out. Behind me here is completely overtaken by nature, a little stone building. That's kind of cool. Seems like these are like very old buildings. I wonder if that's part of the property that the Mitchells had. You can see like these old stone entryways here. There's one over there, and one behind me there. It's cool. Seems like there's a lot of history here. It's unfortunate I don't know too much about it. It'd be cool to have like a tour guide or something to like be able to show you around. Okay, so I followed the road down past the lighthouse, and along the way there's like a few like old buildings. There's also some like homemade buildings that people are living in, so I didn't want to film any of that. Back there is like some official looking place. It looks like it might be maybe like a boat dock or like a restaurant or something. So it's kind of a confusing area. This is like the sort of area where I think probably several times throughout history people have attempted to make a like a little bit of a tourist industry here, and then it like fell apart, and they tried again and it fell apart. It's kind of like the vibe I'm getting. So this is a nice little walk. It's very pleasant and a lot of history here. So that's cool to see. It'd be even cooler if they give you access to the lighthouse and stuff, which seems like that's going to be the case. So I think that's all I have to say about this place. This was really cool to see, and I'll see you next time. Bye. Oh my god. Stop it. Quaint as hell.